بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلي وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى أهله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، تفسير الصعدي تيسير الكريم الرحمن في تفسير القرآن بعبد الرحمن بن ناصر الصعدي رحمه الله، translated by ناصر الدين الخطاب, edited بهدى الخطاب. أي نعم, this another juz. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. قال فما خطبكم أيها المرسلون. Ibrahim said, then what is your business, O messengers? قالوا إنا أرسلنا إلى قوم مجرمين. They said, we have been sent to a wicked people. نرسل عليهم حجارة من طين, to unleash upon them a shower of stones of clay. مسومة عند ربك للمسرفين, especially marked and kept to your Lord for the transgressors. فأخرجنا من كان فيها من المؤمنين. We brought forth the believers who were in the city. فما وجدنا فيها غير بيت من المسلمين, but we found in it only one household of Muslims. أي نعم. وتركنا فيها آيات الذين يخافون عذاب الأليم, and we let it as a sign for those who fear the painful punishment. Ibrahim said to them, then what is your business, O messengers? That is, what is your purpose and what do you want? Because he felt that they were messengers whom Allah had sent for some important purpose. They said, we have been sent to a wicked people, namely the people of Lut, who had done evil deeds, associated others with Allah, rejected their messengers and committed shameful deeds that were utterly unprecedented, to unleash upon them a shower of stones of clay, especially marked and kept to their Lord for the transgressors. That is, each one is marked for a specific reason, because they had transgressed and overstepped all bounds. Ibrahim had to argue with them for the people of Lut, in the hope that Allah might ward off the punishment from them. But Allah said, O Ibrahim, since you are pleading, for verily the decree of your Lord has gone forth, verily there is coming to them a punishment that cannot be averted. We brought forth the believers who were in the city, but we found it in only one household of the Muslims, namely the household of Lut, apart from his wife, for she was one of the doomed. And we left it as a sign for those who fear the painful punishment, so that they might learn a lesson from it and know that Allah is severe in punishment, and that his messengers are honest and trustworthy. What this story includes of wisdom and rulings. The wisdom and rulings seen in this story include the following. It is wise that Allah tells his slaves the stories of both good and evil people, so that they may learn from their stories and the fate of each group. The virtue of Ibrahim al-Khalil because Allah begins his story with that which sheds light on his importance, and now he paid special attention to it. It is precise to be hospitable, for this is the way of Ibrahim al-Khalil which Allah enjoined this prophet and his ummah to follow. Allah mentions it here by way of praising it. The guest is to be honored in various ways, in word and deed, because Allah described the guest of Ibrahim as honored. In other words, Ibrahim honored them, and Allah describes the hospitality that he offered them in word and deed. They were also honored by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The house of Ibrahim was a place that was frequented by passers-by and visitors, because they entered upon him without seeking permission, that they followed the etiquette of greeting, the greeting of salam, and Ibrahim responded with a more complete greeting, because his greeting, as indicated by the Arabic wording, was indicative of a wish that peace be upon them all the time. It is prescribed to ask people whom come to you or with whom the contact a place to introduce themselves, because there are many benefits in doing so. We see Ibrahim's politeness and gentleness in his speech, as he said, you are strangers to me, rather than saying I do not know you. The difference between the two phrases is obvious. One should hasten to offer hospitality, because the best good deed is that which is done without a delay. Hence Ibrahim hastened to prepare a meal for his guest. If meat that has already been prepared is offered to a guest, this is not disrespectful in the slightest. Right, it is an honor, as Ibrahim did that. Allah tells us that his guests were honored. Allah tells us of what he blessed his close friend Ibrahim with of great generosity, as this food was ready to be served, and his house was in a state of constant readiness to welcome guests, so he did not need to go and fetch food from the market or from his neighbors and the like. Ibrahim was the one who served his guests, even though he was the close friend of the most gracious. The man dignity and honor is the one who serves his guests. He brought the food to them to the place where they were sitting, and he did not put it somewhere else and tell them to come and have some food, because this is easier for them and is better. One should speak gently and show politeness to one's guest, especially when offering him food. Ibrahim offered the food to them and requested them to eat in a very gentle manner, saying, will you not eat? He did not say you have to eat and other such phrases that are not the most preferable. Rather, his approach was that of requesting them to eat. The one who wants to follow his example should use nice words as appropriate to the situation, such as saying to his guest, will you not eat, or please do us the honor of eating with us, and the like. If a person is afraid of someone for any reason that that person should reassure him and say things to put his mind at rest and calm him down. And as the angel said to Ibrahim when he was afraid of them, fear not. And they told him of those glad tidings after he had been afraid of them. We see great joy of Sarah, the wife of Ibrahim, to the extent that she struck her face and cried out aloud, which was not usual behavior on her part. Allah honored Ibrahim and his wife Sarah with the glad tidings of an eligible son. Ainam. وفي موسى أرسلناه إلى فرعون بسلطان مبين, and there is another sign in the story of Musa when we sent him to Pharaoh with the compelling proofs. فتولى بركنه وقال ساحر ومجنون, but he and his people turned away and he said, O Musa, a magician or a madman. فأخذناه وجنوده فنبذناه في اليم. We seized him and his troops and flung them into the sea, and he was to blame. And there is another sign for the story of Musa and what Allah sent him with to Pharaoh and his chiefs of clear signs and dazzling miracles. This is another sign to those who fear the painful punishment when Musa came with that compelling proof. Pharaoh and his people ran away. That is, they turned away from the truth and paid no attention to it, and they ascribed it in the worst manner, saying, "O Musa," and saying of Musa and that he was a magician or a madman. In other words, they thought that the Musa was either a magician and what he was brought was that had nothing to do with the truth at all, or he was a madman who was not to be blamed for what he said or did, because he was not same. However, especially Pharaoh knew that Musa was telling the truth, as Allah says elsewhere. They rejected the sign, although in their heart they were certain that they were true, out of weakness and arrogance. Musa said to Pharaoh, "You know full well that none but the Lord of the heavens and the earth has sent down these signs as clear evidence." So we seized him and his troops and flung them to the sea, and he was to blame, for he was a sinner and transgressor who disobeyed Allah. So Allah seized him with the vehement grip of one who is almighty, omnipotent. وفي آد أرسلناه عليهم ريح العقيم. And there is another sign of the story of Ad when we sent against them the divisive wind that was devoid of all good. It is spared nothing that came upon, but it reduced it to ruin and decay. And there is another sign in the story of Ad, that is, there was another mighty sign among Ad, a well-known tribe, when we sent against them the devastating wind that was devoid of all good. That is, there was nothing good in it. That was when they rejected their prophethood. It is spared nothing it came upon, but it reduced it to ruin and decay. Allah destroyed them despite their strength and power, which is indicative of His perfect might and of omnipotence. For nothing is beyond him who wreaks vengeance on those who disobey him. And there is another sign in the story of Thamud when it was said to them, "Enjoy life for a little while." But they insolently transgressed the commandment of their Lord, so the devastating punishment overtook them whilst they were looking on. Ainam. They could not withstand the punishment and could not ward it off. And therefore, and there is another sign in the story of Thamud when Allah sent Saleh salam to them, but they suddenly rejected him. Allah sent him the she camel as a visible sin, but that only increased them in stubbornness and aversion. So it was said to them, "Enjoy life for a little while," but they instantly transgressed the command of their Lord. So the fasting punishment, namely the destructive blast, overtook them whilst they were looking on, and saw the punishment with their own eyes. They could not withstand, that is, they could not be saved from the punishment and could not ward it off from themselves. And people of Noah were destroyed by the people of Noah were destroyed by the devastating punishment before them. They were indeed a rebellious and a wicked people. That is, Allah did likewise the people of Noah when they rejected Noah salam and rebelled against the command of Allah. Allah sent against them Allah sent against them the heaven and the earth, pouring and gushing forth water, and He drowned from them and drowned them all, and did not leave any of the disputes alive. This is why this is the way of Allah in dealing with those who disobey Him. والسماء بنينا بأيد وإنا لموسعون. We built the heaven with might, and verily we are still expanding it. والأرض فرشناها فنعم الماهدون. And we spread out the earth, how great is He who smooth it out. ومن كل شيء خلقنا وزينا لكم تذكرون. And all of things we have created pure so that you may pay heed. ففروا إلى الله إني لكم نذير مبين. So flee to Allah, verily I am clear warner to you from Him. ورجل بالله إلها آخر إني لكم نذير مبين. Not associated with Allah Allah any other God, verily I'm a clear warner to you from him. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, highlighting his great might, we built the heaven, that is, we created it and built it well, and we made it a roof for the earth, and all that is on it, with might, that is, with immense power and strength, and verily we are still expanding it in all directions, and we also bestow expensive and abundant provision upon our slaves. Allah does not leave any creature in the midst of the wilderness, or the depths of the sea, or in the upper or lower realms, but He causes provision to reach as it needs, and He sends its blessing to serve it. So glory be the one who bestows His generosity upon all creatures, and blessed be the one whose mercy encompasses all of creation. And we spread out the earth, that is, we have made it spread out for people, so that they will be able to do whatever they have to do in order to meet their needs, such as building dwellings, planting, cultivating, tilling the soil, settling, and following roads that lead to their destinations, because the earth has been spread out. And one may think that it may be beneficial in all respect, or it may be beneficial in some ways, but not others. Therefore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that He has smoothed it out in the best way, and He praises Himself for that, saying, how gracious is He who smoothed it out, for His slaves are dictated by His wisdom, mercy, and generosity. And all of things we have created pairs, that is, two guardians, male and female, of all types of animals, so that you may pay heed to the blessings of Allah, and that He has bestowed upon you, as He has created that on the basis of wisdom, making the pairs male and female the means of the perpetuation of all types of animals, so that you will raise them, take care of them, and look after them, and thus attain many benefits. Having called people to look at His signs, which will lead them to fear Him and turn to Him, Allah enjoins that which is the purpose of all these things, which is to flee to Him. What is meant is to flee from that which Allah hates, both outwardly and inwardly, as to that which He loves, both outwardly and inwardly, fleeing from ignorance to knowledge, from disbelief to faith, from sin to obedience, from heedlessness to remembrance of Allah. Whoever does all of that has done all that religion requires of him. He will be spared of all that he fears, and he will attain all that he seeks. Allah describes turning to Him as fleeing, because turning to anyone other than Him will result in all kinds of fearful outcomes and troubles, whereas turning to Him leads to all that one loves, security, joy, happiness, and thrift. You will flee from everyone you fear except Allah Azza wa Jal. The more you fear Him, the more you flee to Him. Verily I am a clear warner to you from Him, that is, I am a warner to you of the punishment of Allah, bringing a clear passage of warning. Do not associate with Allah any other God. This is part of fleeing to Allah, rather this is the basis of fleeing to Him. For a person to flee from taking any other God among the idols, rivals, graves, and so on, things that are worshipped besides Allah, and devoting his worship, fear, hope, supplication, and repentance to His Lord alone. كذلك ما أتى الذين من قبل الرسول إلا كانوا ساحر مجنون. Likewise, no messenger came to those before them, but they said he is a magician or a madman. أتواصوا به بل هم قوم طاغون. Have they, the earlier and the later generation, come to an agreement concerning this accusation, that they are a people against beyond bones? Here Allah consoles His Messenger for the rejection of the prejudice who disbelieved in Him and said abhorrent things concerning Him that were bluntly untrue. Such views reflect the constant attitude of the evildoers who believe in the messengers. Allah never sent any messenger, but His people accused him of witchcraft of insanity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, are these views which I was praised by the believers, both earlier and later generations, something concerning which they have come to an agreement and instructed one another to say, and therefore there is nothing strange in the fact that they agree in this. Rather, they are people transgressing beyond bounds, for their mindset and actions were similar views and disbelief and overstepping of the bounds. Therefore, the views that is stemmed from their transgression were similar. This is the reality concerning them, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says elsewhere. Those who have no knowledge say, if only Allah will speak to us, or some sign will come to us. The people who come before them said something similar. Their hearts are all much the same. By the same token, the mindset of the believers is similar, because they have submitted to the truth, and they seek it and strive for it. That they hasten to believe in it, to believe in, venerate, and respect their messengers, and they address them in an appropriate manner. فَتَوَالَّ عَنْهُمْ فَمَا أَنْتَ بِمَلُومٍ. So turn away from them, you are not to blame. وَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ ذِكْرَ تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. But context them for exhaustion benefits the believers. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enjoys His messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, turn away from those who reject His message and disbelieve. So turn away from them. That is, do not pay attention to them and do not rebuke them. Rather focus on your own affairs, for you are not to blame for their sin. All you are required to do is to convey the message, and you have discharged your responsibility and convey the message with which you are sent. But continue to exhort them, for exhortation benefit the believers. Exhortation is of two types. The first of which is telling something that of which the details are not known, or that is known in general terms through common sense and reasoning. Allah has caused everyone on the basis of common sense to love good and give precedence to it, and to have evil and keep away from it, and His laws are in accordance with that. Therefore, all that He enjoins or forbids comes under the heading of exhortation. Proper exhortation is to mention the goodness and benefit in what is enjoyed, and the harm is what is prohibited. The second type of exhortation is to remind the believers to do what is known to them, but they have grown careless and heedless about it. For that reason, they should be reminded repeatedly, so that the exhortation will take root in their minds, and they will begin to pay attention to what they are reminded of. Thus, their energy, motivation, and result will be rewarded, which will make them try to benefit from the exhortation and achieve progress. Allah tells us that the exhortation benefit the believers because what they have of faith and fear of Allah, and their constant turning to Him and seeking His pleasure allows them to benefit from the remainder and makes the exhortation more effective in this case. This is like the verse in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, so remind people if the remainder will be of benefit. The one who fears Allah will pay heed, while the rich one will avoid it. As for those who do not have faith and are not prepared to pay the heed to the exhortation, they will not benefit from it. This is like the salty ground that does not benefit at all from the rain. Even if every sign were to come to this type of people, they will not believe until they see the painful punishment with their own eyes. I seek no provision from them. I have not created the jinn and humans except to worship me. ما أريد منهم من رزق وما أريد أن يطعمون. I seek no provision from them, no I do want them to feed me. إن الله هو الرزاق ذو قوة المتين. Indeed it is Allah who is the provider, Lord of might, the powerful. This is the purpose for which Allah created the jinn and humankind and sent all the messengers to call to, namely to worship Him alone, which implies knowing Him, loving Him, turning to Him, and turning away from all the others. That implies knowing Him, for worshiping properly depends on knowing Allah. In fact, the more a person knows his Lord, the more perfect his worship will be. This is the purpose for which Allah created those who are accountable. He did not create them out of any need for them in His path. Allah does not want any provision from them, and He does not want them to feed Him. Exalted be Allah, the self-sufficient, who has no need of anyone in any way. Rather, all creatures are in need of Him for all their needs and essential necessities. Hence He says, indeed it is Allah who is the provider, that is, He gives abundant provision. There is no creature that lives on the earth, but its sustenance is guaranteed by Allah. He knows its dwelling place and its resting place. Lord of might, the powerful, that is the one who possesses all strength and might, who brought all great entities in the upper and lower realm into being by the power of all affairs, both apparent and hidden, are controlled, and His will is done in all realms. Whatever Allah wills happens, and whatever He does not will does not happen. No one can flee from Him or escape His authority. By His might He causes His provision to reach all the worlds. By His might and His strength He will resurrect the dead after their bodies have disintegrated and their dust has been scattered by the winds, or they have been devoured by birds and the wild animals, and scattered in the far reaches of the wilderness and in the depths of the sea. No one can escape Him. He knows what the earth consumes of them. Glory be the most strong, the powerful. فإن ظلموا ذنوبا مثل ذنوب السماء فلا يستعجلون. But those who do wrong will have a share of punishment like that of their counterpart among the earlier generations. So let them not ask me to hasten to it. فويل الذين كفروا من يومهم الذي يوعدون. So woe to the disbelievers from that day of theirs which they are promised. That is, those who do wrong and reject Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam will have a share of punishment like that which was sent upon their counterparts among the earlier wrongdoers and disbelievers. So let them not ask me to hasten to it, namely the punishment, for the way of Allah is in dealing with the nations is always the same. Every disbeliever who persists in his disbelief without repenting and turning back to Allah will inevitably be afflicted with the punishment, even if it is delayed for a while. Hence Allah warned them of the day of resurrection, saying, so the disbelievers from that day of theirs which they are promised, for that is the day of resurrection on which all kinds of punishment, vengeance, chains, and fetters are promised. Then they will have no help and no one to save them from the punishment of Allah. We seek refuge with Allah from it. This is the end of the commentary on Soorat Al-Dhariyaat. All praise and thanks are for Allah, and may the praise and peace of Allah be upon Prophet ﷺ, his family and his companions, abundantly until the day of judgment.